switch in that position?
Yes, certainly. I think you need a centre-back that's dominating. Bobby Ryan is in trouble since to start against Galway, and you know, Colin Bonner was substituted earlier on in the game. I would have thought that maybe they might have tried Colin Bonner at centre-back or wing-back and tried Conal Bonner in that position maybe.
Rabbit's back at his feet again. Big, strong, forceful fellow. And the Galway following in the west, watching these pictures this afternoon, will note that there are 5 minutes gone in the second half. Their side continues to lead as they did at half-time. And both teams back to the full complement. Tip pressurising. Nicky English shortening the grip on the stick. And he's put it wide. It's going very poorly for Tipperary. The little things that they would have been doing in their sleep in the past, it's just not happening this afternoon. And you have to credit Galway as well, because Babs will appreciate that they have pressurised his players all the way. Richie Burke, I wonder what kind of headway he'll make against the wind now in the second half. Reaches the 45-metre line, potted down to Michael Coleman. Again on his left-hand side across towards the man atop of the left as the wind swirls that ball away. But it's Liam Burke to pick it up and unable to turn it into a score. Hopper McGrath continues to play at right half forward, and Brendan Keogh top of the right. Jerry McInerney making the fetch again. They don't feel like going down, I'm sure, like Antrim did in the second half after a very battling first half performance. They want to show that they're a full 70-minute team. Brendan Keogh there. They've had a tendency to try and hit for shots from ridiculous distances at times. Out has been taken very quickly to John Lahey, happily recovered, but unable to improve upon the scoreline. Looks a bit battled and bruised, but I think the first aid people have done a good, neat job, and maybe there's a stitch required later on. I really do think it looked a bit worse than it really was. Thankfully he's wearing a helmet, and I suppose it's an object lesson to all young players around the country to continue to wear helmets. Joe McGrath beaten for that one, challenged by Rémi Ryan.
Badly need scores there, and they've had 3 wides I think in the second half. Aidan Ryan, Nick English a bad wide there a minute ago, and John Lahey. They badly need to get some scores on the board and try and get some movement and some fluid movement in their forward line.
Rémi Ryan cutting it in. Corey Kelly linking up with Murty Killalay, partially blocked by Michael Cleary, won by John Lahey, challenged by Jerry McInerney, neatly picked up. Driven in, but again to the right of the post, and that's now 4 wides in the second half. 7 in all for a wind-supported team. Galway with 12 wides, incidentally, and 5 of those in the second half. Overall, Jimmy, it hasn't been a great match.
No, indeed, and I suppose Galway are very pleased with the way they're playing, but Tipperary just haven't gone into the game at all, and their forwards are shooting from points now there from difficult angles. John Lahey certainly should have pulled that ball across and kept it in play.
Bobby beaten for it by Joe Cooney, but standing behind him was Declan Carr. Anticipating, Nicky English batting it down. Paul Cooney then adjudged to have pushed Nicky English. And Paul from Killimer Daly, not exactly overpleased with that decision by Dickie Murphy. But I think it was a fairly clear-cut decision. Dickie, one of the best officials in this game. So Michael Cleary with 4 points so far. 4 from 4 in his attempt for scores, 3 from 3 from frees. Well, that's normally the angle that you'd expect him to put the ball over the bar, and it really is symptomatic of an afternoon where a Tipperary side is playing with a very ragged structure about it. The cohesion is missing, the determination is there, no question about that, but it's just not going their way. So Galway continuing to lead. We played 9 minutes of the second half and no improvement on the half-time scoreline. Pile up over there, it's won by Joe McGrath, there's a tip player on the ground. Still McGrath going forward, challenged by Bobby Ryan. Bobby doing well, supported by Noel Sheehan here. Good clearance, they're attending to the tip player across on the far side. So tipped out onto 14 players as Declan Carr plays that ball in towards Anthony Cross, seemed to be pushed there by Sean Tracy. Strong player, resilient, at side to John Lahey. They need a score here. just comes down off the post, I think, and it's played out by Paul Cooney. Two players down across on the far side. Jarlath Cloonan with a concerned look at him. They just were all challenging for a ball that was going flying down that far side, and there was a pile-up.
I think what happened actually is two Tipperary players collided, and the clash of heads between the two of them, so there's two Tipperary players down the line actually, I think. Here you see Rémi Ryan going back here with his eye on the ball, and just tries to knock it away, and Paul Delaney comes in, and the complete clash of heads there between the two Tipperary players, and this could be very, very serious for them.
The two players operating on the right-hand wing of the Tip defence. And the Galway doctor in there needed as well to support his colleague John Keating, two friends indeed. Willie Bennett in there also. Trian Amar, the physio from Tipperary. So Rémi Ryan and Paul Delaney both down on the ground. A Tip side that has already used two of its substitutes in one fell swoop in the first half before half-time. Pat Fox and Conor Stakelham introduced.
What probably happened there, Ger, as well, is that Rémi Ryan got the full force of Paul Delaney's helmet into his face, and that can be a very, very serious thing, and if he got the full force of that, it certainly would find it very, very difficult to play on.
I think it's far more important right now that these players are attended to and that the game is held up. A neck brace, it seems, is what's being required, and they're bringing a stretcher in here, and quite correctly they're taking extreme care over the injured players. Rémi Ryan here in picture, the number 5, not wearing a helmet, colliding there with Paul Delaney, who was. Very sad pictures indeed to have to voice over. Here's this incident once again, and their complete determination to get that ball. It's a nasty collision, Jimmy.
Yes, and it was the Paul Delaney actually hitting Rémi Ryan with his helmet. There's a terrible impact on his head there.
Hopefully they will be both okay. It's a moment like this when you don't have any concern for the figures in the game itself in terms of scores and how the play is going. It really was a ferocious impact. Two Tipperary players trying to get their team going in a match where things hadn't been going all that terribly well. Yes. Paul Delaney at least is up on his feet once again. We just saw him there rise, having taken off the hurley or the helmet.
I was just going to say, Ger, that it probably would be Rémi Ryan who would be the worst affected, having got the belt of the helmet into his face, and hopefully they'll both be okay.
Players, of course, of Rémi's generation perhaps didn't grow up with the helmet being part and parcel of the culture of the game. Nowadays you just don't allow youngsters to start playing this sport unless they are well equipped with helmets.
Well, Gerald, there's an argument that says the helmets should be compulsory. I don't really know, because as you can see there are advantages and disadvantages and everything, and Rémi Ryan was unlucky enough to see the full force there of Paul Delaney's helmet.
Game has now been held up for about 4 minutes, I think, and quite correctly so. And Dickie Murphy here in control of this match. It's part of his responsibility to ensure that all the players get through this game and come out injury-free at the other end if at all possible. Michael O'Mara has been brought into the Tipperary team, and Paul Delaney back on his feet. He's okay. The concern is about Rémi Ryan. So Michael O'Mara, the deposed captain, coming back in. And again, the game just held up to ensure that Rémi can get back to full health once again as quickly as possible. Great young player has come through in the last couple of years. He picked up an injured hand, as you'd remember, in the league semi-final against Cork, and was out of action for some time after that. He's a player that has greatly impressed all of us who had the pleasure of watching him over the last couple of years. He's also been badly hit with injury with players like George Friend over the last year or so. Paul Delaney. He's got that facial guard as well, which some players find hard to maneuver with, but when you grow up with it, it becomes just part and parcel of your overall gear. So it's Rémi Ryan who's continued to be attended to, head bandaged up from that injury. I think he's going to be okay. They're going to stretcher him off as a precaution. He won't take any further part in this match. Everybody concerned, of course, but it looked particularly nasty, the sheer impact of player upon player. So very carefully they're placing him on the stretcher. Fans combining to salute the tip number 5, who makes his way off. Aidan Ryan cutting this ball in. I make it about 15.5 minutes gone, but we've had at least a 5-minute hold-up for that injury. Bobby Ryan is now right half-back. Michael O'Mara centre-back. Remember, it's still 1-9 to 5 points, as you were, amazingly, at half-time. When we start to consider the match once again now, Galway won't have been too pleased by that long hold-up. It was completely unavoidable, but their rhythm has been fractured, and now Tip will hope to get back into it. Pádraig Kelly. Michael Coleman trying to make headway, beaten for it by Aidan Ryan. Whipping on it out here. Brendan Keogh. Picked up here again by Joe McGrath. Good solo run through the centre. Can this produce the first score of the second half? It can. Goes to Galway's Joe McGrath. He's got 4 points. There may be others who are a little more stylish, but none more determined.
Yes, again, and Joe McGrath just making yards on Declan Carter. He just can't get back at him, and takes a very good point, and that's just what Galway needed this stage to keep their momentum going after the stop.
Michael Coleman, neck or upper chest injury. He's okay. The medical people have been very busy here today. Declan Carr beaten by Michael Coleman. Now Michael O'Mara, captain the side in the Munster final. On nicely towards Declan Carr, and he's put it over the bar. Declan Carr has scored it. So Michael O'Mara settling in well. It was Declan Carr who got the score, and 7 points the difference again. 43,527 people watching this match this afternoon. That's a fine attendance. Richie Burke. Conal Bonner fumbling. Michael Coleman, just a menacing figure at midfield. Won by Conal Bonner, trying to get this Tipperary machine motoring. Pat Fox touching it on. Paul Cooney whipping on it. That'll be a sideline ball. Well, we still await the fireworks. I make it about 18.5 minutes gone, second half. Aidan Ryan. Aidan picking up once again. On the tight angle here, Sean Tracy coming across to make the intervention. And that lengthy clearance downfield towards Bobby Ryan. Right half back now is his position. Michael O'Mara standing his ground. Sported there by Paul Delaney. Comes out to Declan Carr again, stumbling. That's going to be a sideline ball. Sideline ball for Galway. And Galway have just brought in a substitute. Seems to be Liam Fahy who's come in. Liam Fahy who's coming into the Galway attack. Player going off is going to be Brendan Keogh. Scored a point in the first half, now replaced midway through the second half. Pádraig Kelly once again. Nice sideline cut through the centre. Michael O'Mara picking it up. Trying to pick up the tempo of this game as well. Again is Pádraig Kelly. Amazing to think that it's Kelly's first championship match. Likewise, Murty Killalay, they've settled in so well. O'Mara, blocked down by Michael McGrath. They're doing the basic, simple things well. And there was a foul by Michael O'Mara.
Big difference in the two sides, Gerard. That Galway are so much quicker in their striking. When they get the ball, they're getting away quick and cleanly and getting away from their men, whereas Tipperary seem to be struggling, either blocked down or fumbling it. And again, Michael O'Mara there should have had the ball cleared, blocked down by Michael McGrath, and gives away a silly free.
Tom Helibert wanting them to move some distance away from him. Runs on towards Liam Burke, tall corner forward. Turning with some purpose beyond Aidan Ryan, seeking to hook the forward going through. Jersey pulled. Claimed there by Michael Ryan. Faced by Liam Fahy. Galway will get the sideline ball. It seems like it's going to be a struggle right to the finish to claim that other place in this year's All-Ireland Hurling final.
You feel if Tip are going to come back into the game and turn it around, they need a goal badly, but at the moment the Galway backs are playing so well and so confidently that it's difficult to see where that goal is going to come from. None of the Tipperary forwards are making any impact on their opponents.
Another thought that strikes me right now, Jimmy, is that Kilkenny are going to be raging hot favourites for the final, but you never know, it's a long way away. Joe Cooney. Paul Delaney now. Bobby Ryan lets it behind him. Picked up by Joe McGrath, back to Joe Cooney again, and the Joes combine, and between them they put it wide. 13 wides for Galway, 8 for Tipperary. Ken Hogan's puck out. Michael Coleman batting it down. He's played really well, very effective at midfield. He's got Hopper to his right, and he's got Lahey in front of him, and it's John Lahey who takes it for Tipperary. Well, is that an indication of a midfield player who's unhappy with the way his forwards are working? He was going for that spectacular point from way out in the middle of the field.
Sure, at this stage though, he really had to let that ball in low and try and create something around the Galway goal mouth, and it's soul destroying for Tipperary to see those balls dropping harmlessly wide.
4 attempts by John Lahey, we estimate. No score so far from play. Aidan Ryan, always busy, always in the thick of the action. Anthony Cross trying to get at the end of this one. Well mastered by Sean Tracy, an imposing figure at fullback, broken down by Declan Carr, taking the shoulder. Ryan once again. 2 Galway players in pursuit. Murty Killalay racing out for this one, making it his. Getting away from 2 tip men. The hand passing continue until it reaches Pádraig Kelly. Kelly getting it way downfield. I think the Galway fans now really feeling that their side are in with a great chance of reaching this year's final. It's Michael McGrath. Here comes the hopper. Outside towards Liam Fahy. Stumbled at the inappropriate moment. It comes to Michael Ryan. A bad clearance. Somehow it reaches Conor Stakelum. There were 2 Galway players there, and Stakelum made it his. Aidan Ryan, shoulder, jersey rather pulled by Pat Malone, and the referee calling back the number 9. And the notebook is out once again.
Tipperary badly need a score here, Ger, and even if they get a point, it might give them some chance because they need to get a score on the board. They're playing with a very strong wind in the second half, and they've only got a point to show for it.
About 11 minutes of normal time to go, plus of course the injury time. Michael Cleary tapping it over the bar. That's a 5th point for Michael Cleary, 4 of those coming from place balls. 6 points the difference. It's not a huge lead by any manner of means. Now the fans appreciating, I think, that it's a bit of a lackluster game overall, but appreciating that nonetheless with their support they might lift their team to greater efforts and perhaps a place in the final. Won brilliantly by Joe Cooney. One back, stolen back by Michael Cleary. Lovely change of direction, injecting pace into the attack, shortening the grip on the stick, and he's put it wide, inexplicably so. And this fan here, I think, the 2 of them indeed, with a certain resigned look on the faces. Begin to wonder if Tip would have done better had they had a more testing Munster campaign. They're certainly lacking shapeness. And the good news about Rémi Ryan, he's concussed, he's been taken to the Mater Hospital, he's going to be okay, he's all right. So that's the good news. The bad news is that Tipperary, you're a Tip supporter, aren't doing too well. Paul Delaney. Joe Cooney trying to win this ball back. Liam Fahey doing nicely. Paul Delaney and Bobby Ryan. Ryan getting it out. Missed by Jerry McInerney. Marty Killalay trying to close down Pat Fox. He was fouling him. Marty not too pleased, but Pat Fox winning the free in. It's a game that's still there for the taking.
Well, Tip certainly aren't out of it, but do feel they need a goal badly to give them that injection, because they're not playing well, and if they got a goal they could rise their game maybe and get a bit of life into the forward line.
If this gets very tight, can you just imagine how tense it's going to get if it goes to injury time? That's gone over the bar. 6 points from Michael Cleary, the team captain this afternoon. Or has that changed with the return of Michael O'Mara? Not too sure. Only 5 between them. Can Tip come back? Can Galway maintain the effort? They've looked determined, they've looked good. Richie Burke's puck out. Not quite as long as it was in the first half, when it was really causing great trouble. So Jarlath Cloonan now living on his nerves. He was very nervous indeed before the match, issuing the instructions there to Joe Rabbit. Bobby Ryan. Broken down. Won by Jerry McInerney. Playing it outside to Hopper McGrath. The experienced players in this Galway team today have given great leadership. They certainly haven't gone into hiding. Liam Fahey. Michael Ryan. Batted down there by Pádraig Kelly. Tip now trying to raise the tempo. There's a wild pull by Tom Hellebert, who has to be careful. He's already booked in this match. He's on the ground right now. Referee signalling that it's going to be a free in.
You can see a group of players around the ball here, and Aidan Ryan tries to flick it up, and Tom Hellebert comes in and pulls very wildly across Aidan Ryan, and the referee quite rightly gives a free to Tipperary. It's an important one out for Cleary. If he could slot this one over, it would certainly put Tipperary with a great chance of pulling it out of the fire.
He's put over 5 of 6 frees so far, and he's now put over 6 out of 7. 7 points in all for Michael Cleary out of a total of 9, which says a lot about the way the Tip forward line has performed, but they don't mind. They just want to get to the final.
They're certainly back in the game. What they need to do at this stage here is try and get the ball in around the Galway full back line, where I hope that English or Fox can poach a goal, but they haven't been getting any great ball in top of them yet.
There's only a goal and a point in it. Joe Rabbit has come out towards the 40 to try and win possession, just 2 men inside. One of them is Joe Cooney, the other is Liam Fahey. It's one, however, here, and taken away. That's Michael O'Mara. Fired up, no doubt, to show the selectors that he should have been part of the action from the outset. Nicky English now rounding Paul Cooney, but the referee spotted the foul by the Galway number 2. English racing in. Cooney going to be spoken to, and a little bit more than that, he's going to have his name taken as well.
Quite rightly too, Ger, a wild pull across Nicky English there. And what a difference Michael Ryan has made since he's come into the game at centre half back. He's tightened up the whole half back line for Tipperary, and has done very, very well. You can see English here gathers the ball quite well, and just going to take a shot for the goal, but elects to go around the Galway player, and wild pull across English by Paul Cooney. Another very important free for Michael Cleary. None of them are easy at this stage, and if he can get this over, there's just a goal between them.
The free takers have a very important role to play in this match. The gap is closed to just a goal. Just over 5.5 minutes, plus perhaps another 5 minutes of injury time to go. Richie Burke, his side playing into the wind. Now it's the Galway team who need scores badly. Rabbit on the 40, Joe Cooney full forward. Joe McGrath top of the left, chopped down, free in. Conall Bonner going back, having conceded the free. All Joe Cooney preparing to take it. Outside the 45-metre line. He's put it over. That's a very important point by Joe Cooney. 3 points for Joe Cooney this afternoon, all of them coming from frees out of 5 attempts. Concerned Galway faces now. Jerry McInerney, but it's anybody's game. Pat Malone swinging defence into attack to Joe Cooney, broken down off the fingers of Joe towards the other Joe Rabbit. Rabbit going forward, here's a hand pass, Liam Fahey scoring chance, stopped by Ken Hogan. Well, he may have been culpable of the goal that beat him in the first half, but this time he comes to his side's rescue. Hit straight at him, it has to be said, but he was there, accurately placed. But now it's Hopper in the follow-up who drills over the point. Michael McGrath has got a goal and a point. 2 unanswered points now by Galway. 3.5 to go, plus the injury time. It's Leahy going through, stopped. Drilled out by Murty Killalay, not too far. Still trying to break out there out of defence. Tom Hellebert, Michael Coleman, down towards Liam Fahey, touched away by Michael Ryan. Getting support from Michael O'Mara. Joe Cooney again. They sensed that Tipperary were coming back into it. This is their reply. Fahey blocked by Ryan. Still going forward, players calling for it on either side. Doesn't quite come anywhere, it comes out instead to Noel Sheehy for tip, who've been in quite a battle. Pat Malone. Bobby Ryan. John Leahy fumbling. Overall, it's been a poor performance by Tipperary, but can they yet get through to the final? Paul Cooney. It comes out here to Michael Coleman. Twice he missed it. Bobby Ryan comes in. Pádraig Kelly, neat but unable to take it up. It's Aidan Ryan once again. Partially blocked by Murty Killalay. Goes anywhere. Near the sideline. Pat Fox shouldering. Jerry McInerney. Jerry Mack as he's known. Trying to take it out. Supported by Pat Malone. Not a very good pass. It's a nervous finish to this game. Pádraig Kelly running into John Leahy. Picked up by Nicky English. Looking at the target. It's over. Nicky English with his first point of the match. 4 points the difference. 2 minutes to go, plus that injury time I spoke of.
Well, Nicky English did the right thing there, Ger. Get a point and hope that they can get another point. Then there's only a goal between them, but I still feel that Tip will need a goal if they're to pull this one out of the fire.
This time it's Pádraig Kelly who's in need of attention, and the referee wants to continue the game, feeling that it's not a particularly serious injury. Rabbit rising up for it, claiming it. Knocked in, 2 men in the attack. Michael Ryan back there for Tipperary. Joe Cooney has it, and Joe Cooney has pointed. He widens the gap at a critical stage of the match with his 4th point in all. There are 5 between them. He's delighted. They're all delighted here. Pat Malone towards Liam Burke. Is it to be Kilkenny against Galway? Well, it wasn't the popular choice among the tipsters. Joe Cooney hitting that one back. Hopper. Wide across. Joe McGrath now. Hopper's brother beaten by Paul Delaney. Flicked outside only as far as Joe Rabbit. And you feel that's one he should have tapped over the bar. And understandably, he's a little annoyed with himself. Inside the last minute of normal time. Declan Carr. The normally smooth-running Tipperary machine really didn't function this afternoon. It's Michael Cleary tapping it in. They need a goal here. Nicky English coming. The goalkeeper coming out. It's a 65. That was dangerous. Sean Tracy there, patrolling Nicky English, now operating at full forward.
Good ball in by Cleary. This is what Tipperary need to do more of, get the ball down the square and hope that they can get a goal. And Nick English here just can't get around it, and good defending by Galway to get it away quite well.
Well, the amateur whistlers have noted that the 70 minutes are up as Michael Cleary taps it in, and Anthony Cross was coming in for it but couldn't make any kind of contact. Out to the middle to Joe Rabbit. That's a very good switch out onto the 40. Now around midfield, Joe Rabbit trying to win possession, knocking it forward here for Joe Cooney. Ambitiously across, perhaps a bit too ambitious, because Conall Bonner now can turn this Tipperary team into the attack again. Cross still going forward. Again, we have to say they need that goal. Anthony Cross, he's put it over the bar. A point by Cross. 4 points between the teams. A minute of injury time's been played. Well,
very good ball to win here by Anthony Cross, and knocks inside the Galway defence. I suppose they need a goal at this stage, but an extra drive and takes a good point.
Tip with 22 scoring chances, 12 taken. Jarlath Cloonan's team, 32 scoring chances. They've taken 14, a goal and 13 against 12 points. The doctor makes his way off, having attended to one of the players. It's now down at the discretion of referee Dickie Murphy. I didn't have a clock on it, but I guess around 5 minutes must surely have elapsed. One there by Declan Carr. Joe Rabbit. Struck forward by Liam Burke. Saved from going wide there by Joe Cooney. Fed back to Joe McGrath. Turning into Michael O'Mara. Cooney again. The umpires consider it. The hand raised in the arm. It's a Galway point, and there are 5 between them. Is that it?
That's great play by Joe Cooney just when Galway needed a score. Held up the ball well and gets an excellent point.
Father Iggy Clark, he missed an All-Ireland final. Was it 1980? I'm not quite sure. But he missed being part of a Galway success story, but he's relishing this. They all are. And that's Liam Burke with a second point. Galway in their first championship match of the season are lording it at Croke Park. Michael Coleman playing it forward. It's won back by Conall Bonner. A Tip side that were the favourites going into it, but they haven't justified the favouritism. They haven't really played well. Lahey outside, stopped again, but Galway have been magnificent. McInerney, Coleman towards Joe Cooney, running on for Liam Burke, coming in to try and steal the show here. Noel Sheehy. The clearance reaches Declan Carr. Again, a strangely subdued atmosphere about Croke Park. I make it 3 minutes now of injury time having been played. Anthony Cross raiding once again. 3 Galway players there. Pat Malone, the one who closed him down effectively, and Pádraig Kelly. Hard to believe it's his first championship match. Joe Cooney flicking it forward towards the substitute Liam Fahey. Didn't make a lot of headway with it. Liam Burke trying to get at the end of it. It's Paul Delaney instead. Now Michael Ryan. Jerry McInerney, whose side lead by 6 points. Oh, he's missed it completely. Conor Stakelum tracking back, was given a chance. Anthony Cross towards Aidan Ryan. Really going around the scenic route towards the Galway goal. It was Murty Killalay who nipped in. Galway in defence have been quite superb. That last point notwithstanding by Aidan Ryan.
Yeah, great defending there by Murty Killalay again, and all the Galway backs have done exceptionally well today, kept their men well under control, and the one thing that's struck me about Tipperary is their touch has been bad. There's been a lot of fumbling in their game, and I suppose, as you said already, probably the fact that a soft touch in the Munster final against Clare never put to the great test, and you don't really know about players until they're put under pressure.
Galway have just brought in Liam Turley in place of Michael Coleman, clearly injured. 5 minutes now of injury time has been played. It's looking like the Artane Boys band will be rehearsing the Rose of Muncoyne against Galway Bay over the next few weeks. Fahey going on. trying to underline a good performance with another score. And Joe McGrath saying, leave it to me. Won by Bobby Ryan, however. Michael O'Mara shouldered. Stakelin winning it back. O'Mara once more. In towards the forwards, who depended so much on the point scoring of Michael Cleary from frees. Only about 5 points, I think, this afternoon among the Tipperary forwards from play. John Lahey hasn't scored so far. Well, he's got one now. 4 points between them. Nearly 6 minutes of injury time has been played. All of that because of the injuries earlier on to Paul Delaney and Rémi Ryan. Richie Burke. Pat Malone. Liam Burke kicking it back to Joe Cooney. Players calling for it. One of them is Joe McGrath. Back to Joe Cooney. Bobby Ryan not having any of it, but it's the other Joe, Joe Rabbit, coming stylishly forward to take another point. They're having a terrific afternoon at Croke Park. They've been the better team. They deserve to win. Referee just holding up the play. Again, there is a concern, I think, about an injury. Referee going back to have a word, it seems, with the two umpires. Just to try and confirm the scoreline, I think it's 116 to 14 points. The scoreline here is incorrect in the stadium itself, that is. Runs through the cover towards Nicky English. Can he get a goal yet? On to Aidan Ryan. Oh, it strikes the post, and it's a goal! Fox the scorer. So Pat Fox coming in after that ball had struck the stick of Richie Burke or the foot of the post, and Pat Fox with the goal.
Yes, well, you can see Nick English gets a hand pass aside to Aidan Ryan, and good shot by Aidan Ryan, but hits the butt of the post, and Pat Fox right place, great finish.
It's all over. The referee played nearly 8 minutes of injury time, but it's going to be Kilkenny who will play Galway in the 1993 All-Ireland Hurling final. Shades of 1987 once again. Galway deserved to win. They played with determination and won in the end by a mere 2 points. It's 116 to 114.
Yes, Galway and Kilkenny then will contest the All-Ireland final on the 5th of September. Well, we'll be coming back here to Croke Park a little bit later on to consider what we've seen here this afternoon. But it's been an important day in racing as well. We'll be going to Leopardstown, the Heinz 57, after this commercial break. Before we do that, briefly, let me turn to Kieran Barr. Kieran, Galway then coming through against the odds in a storming second-half performance.
Yeah, they scored 7 points in the second half and kept Tipperary at bay. But the closest Tipperary ever got to them was 3 points. It was not 10 to 110. But a fantastic performance by the Galway defence. I thought they were superb, especially the new guys. This guy Killalea, something else, and Cooney, Paul Cooney, and the other guy Pádraig Kelly is fantastic. They've discovered some gems of players. Like, I don't know where they're producing from. Every couple of years we come up with these backs, and McInerney was a revelation centre back. But then Big Rabbit, after getting hit in the head, wakens up and catches 3 balls in a row. You know, it was a fantastic performance.
Well, Kieran, we have to wrap it up ourselves there for the moment, but we'll be hearing more, of course, from Kieran Barr later on tonight in the